guys, so today we're going to take a look at a 22 caliber handgun. This handgun is manufactured by GSG and it's a 1911 style handgun. It's called the GSG 1911. Now this 22 caliber 1911 is actually imported by a company called ATI, or American Tactical Imports. American Tactical Imports imports a number of firearms and also firearms accessories. They're the company that also brings in some of the Korean Glock magazines, high capacity magazines, the Beta C clone drums, things like that. So anyway, the GSG 1911 comes in this hard plastic case, which we'll open up here really quick. And inside you have the GSG 1911. Now, as you can tell by looking at this pistol, it's a copy of the Browning 1911, which is the 5-inch barreled full-size model. The controls are identical to the 1911. You have the slide lock safety, the slide stop, a extended trigger. It has a nice commander style hammer, and also an extended beaver tail grip. So it's kind of, a tricked out 1911. It's not a standard GI model. Now this pistol also has a 10-shot magazine. So you can hold 10 rounds in the magazine plus 1 in the chambers for a total of 11 rounds. You have on the side of the magazine little detents or little, proboscises that stick out. I don't know what to call them, but you can actually pull the follower down, which makes loading the magazine very simple. You pull it down with your thumb, you drop rounds in. It's a nice touch, but a lot of 22s do that, things like the Ruger Mark II. Now, the pistol does have a magazine safety, so I'll take the safety off here, check to make sure the weapon's empty, pull the trigger, and nothing happens. It won't fire until you actually put the magazine in the gun. Now, the trigger pull on this handgun's nice, crisp trigger pull. I would rate it around 3.5–4 pounds. It's a very light trigger. It also has raised sights, which are windage adjustable, and also inside the box it comes with a number of accessories, including additional front sight posts. And here's some of the accessories that come in the box. In this little Ziploc bag you have 2 additional front sight posts, and also it comes with all the tools that you need to disassemble the pistol, which we'll talk about here in a second, and also to make windage adjustments to your sights, and also to replace this front sight. Even though it's dovetailed, it does have an Allen head set screw that holds both the front and rear sights in place. So let's take a closer look at this pistol. Let's disassemble it, and then we'll get it out to the range and shoot it, and I'll show you some of the cool features about this handgun. Alright, so let's take a look at the disassembly of the GSG 1911. First, I want to pick the weapon up and go ahead and make sure that the weapon's clear by dropping the magazine out and then pulling the slide to the rear and inspecting the chamber. Now, because it has a magazine safety, I can't drop the hammer on the pistol right now because I have the magazine removed. So to disassemble the pistol, you have an Allen head screw here in the front. It's a little bit different than a standard 1911. The handgun does come with the tool required to disassemble the handgun, the proper sized Allen wrench. Just stick the Allen wrench in the screw and remove that bolt. Once you have that out, you can push the slide stop out just like a standard 1911. You pull it back to its takedown notch, pull the slide stop out. Now there's one additional pin in here, and you can see it right there. You push that pin out, and now the slide will just come right off the frame like a standard 1911. The lower receiver appears to be steel. It's very heavy. It feels like a standard 1911 frame. As you can see, the insides of the pistol are very familiar. It looks very similar to a 1911. Has a disconnector, standard hammer. Everything seems to be the same, ejector, all that stuff. Looks like a standard 1911. The slide is a little bit different. Although it does look like a standard 1911, you can see inside it looks very similar. but it's made out of aluminum. This is very lightweight, where the frame is steel. This slide is lightweight alloy. Now to disassemble this, it's very similar to a 1911. You push down on the plunger, rotate the bushing out of the way, and your spring cap will come off. And then you can just pull your spring and guide rod straight out the rear. The bushing comes out just like a standard 1911, rotate it the other way, and it comes right out. After that, your barrel just pushes forward out of the slide, and the pistol is disassembled. That's all there is to it. The 1911 is one of my favorite handguns. It's a handgun I most often shoot. It's easy to shoot, fits well in the hand, and it's one accurate handgun. The only problem is the cost of shooting the 1911 can get quite expensive because of the cost of 45 ACP. Even if you reload, it gets a little bit pricey, even if I can keep my reloading costs under $5 a box. The 22 long rifle in the GSG 1911 allows me to practice more affordably, and it gives me the same feel. So the GSG 1911 is identical in size and shape to the original 1911. I have it in the same Black Hawk holster that I just had my Springfield 1911 in. As you can see, it works just fine. Fits perfectly. The GSG 1911 gives me the same feel, the same heft almost. It's a little bit lighter, but it shoots almost identical to my Springfield that I shoot all the time. I really like the feeling and the option of having 22 long rifle versus a 1911 45 for my daily practice. Now, the cost of 22 ammunition has gone up a little bit, but it's still much less than even reloaded 45 ACP. It's a great alternative. Now, some folks like to buy 22 kits for their 1911s and they just swap out the slide. That's a good option, but I prefer to have a dedicated 22 personally, and the GSG 1911 fits that bill perfectly. Now, aside from being nearly identical to a standard 1911 and 45 ACP with all the controls and everything, the GSG 1911 actually has one unique feature that most 1911s don't have, and that is a threaded muzzle. It comes with a muzzle nut protector, or a threaded muzzle protector, that just unscrews. And once you unscrew that, you can attach accessories like this Huntertown Arms Guardian 22 suppressor. It just threads right onto the barrel. And at that point, you have one quiet, fun practice handgun. That's tough to beat. That suppressor works very well in the handgun. The handgun functions 100% with standard velocity 22s. Now, I have been shooting some subsonic ammunition of various brands out of the pistol, and I've noticed it doesn't quite have enough power to cycle the slide completely, so it kind of short strokes and will fail to feed on a full magazine like the first or second round. But with standard velocity handgun ammunition, or even a little bit hotter subsonic with a nice heavy bullet, will cycle the handgun perfectly. That was actually regular 22 long rifle ammunition, and even with the sonic boom, it still wasn't that loud. It didn't ring my ears at all. The pistol works great. I love the ergonomics of the pistol. It's a great little handgun. I like the GSG 1911 so much, the only thing better than having a GSG 1911 to practice with is having two GSG 1911s to practice with. These little guys rock. Some final thoughts on the GSG 1911. Now, I bought this handgun for $349 from 21st Century Firearms. You can find them on the web at shop.21stcenturyfirearms.com. For $349, this is probably one of the best values on the market right now. This is a very well made, mostly steel with an alloy frame, steel frame with alloy slide, 1911 style pistol, 22 caliber long rifle. It cycles a whole bunch of different 22s. I've tried just about everything I can find in the store, and the thing works fairly well. A couple of the subsonic rounds didn't quite cycle the slide all the way, and that only happened occasionally. But with the standard velocity stuff, this thing was 100%. And we have two of them here, and they've both functioned 100%. The quality of the handgun seems to be very high for the $349. It has nice high sights. It has the standard grip safety. The trigger has the exact same feel and reach and pull of a standard 1911. Overall, the handgun feels just like a 1911 that you probably use to shoot with in 45 ACP. So that makes it a great training aid. At least for myself, I find this thing to be invaluable. I really enjoy shooting it. With a threaded muzzle and the ability to put on a suppressor, I really enjoy shooting this handgun. I don't even have to put on the hearing protection. It's great if you're teaching your family or friends to shoot. The suppressor really takes the bite out of it, as they don't have to wear hearing protection. If you're in the market for a 22 caliber pistol, and if you're a fan of the 1911, be sure to check out the GSG 1911. If you guys have any questions about this handgun, feel free to post those questions on our YouTube channel, but we actually prefer that you contact us on Facebook. And you can find us there at www.facebook.com/militaryarms. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys soon.